In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to create this nasty necrotic foot wound. You can put this pretty much anywhere on the body, but we've put it on the foot. It's based on a reference image of a spider bite. This is a prosthetic that Leah and I sculpted together, and you can buy this if you'd like to follow along at home and apply this using this video as your guide. I'll put the link in the description box. It is available exclusively on freakmo.com, and you can also buy the mold. So if you are one of those people who likes to do it yourself, you can fill the mold at home and make multiple copies, or you can buy the prosthetic ready-made. I'll link them both below, and I'll show you now how we color this, how we layer textures for the little bits of crispy skin, how we make this all nice and juicy and infect on the inside. And yeah, I hope you've eaten already. All right. So I'm going to use Telesis silicone adhesive for this. I'm going to measure it out into 2 little shot glasses. Let's get these 2 expensive bad boys that glue stuff real nice. And we've got this placed where we want it. So I'm going to mix in, if you can see here, whoop, get a bit of thinner on this stiff glue brush. And then let's get a little bit of silicone adhesive here. And let's just cover a large area here just to anchor it down. Tickly! Oh, you didn't think about that before you picked your foot, did you?
Yeah, then. Guess
about there?
Yeah, about here.
Nice. Okay. Let's get that stuck down in the center as like a little anchor point.
So even though we're using Telesis, you can definitely use Prosaide with these pieces. In fact, I'd recommend using Prosaide over Telesis unless somebody else is paying for your Telesis-like production. You can ask me why in the comments, but Prosaide's just way more economical. I kind of adhere it down in 3 phases. The first one is anchoring down the center point, and then once that's done, I will glue up to the edge of the silicone, but I leave the cap plastic unglued. And then I finish by gluing down all of the cap plastic. I just find this makes it a bit more manageable, and then you can really focus on getting your cap plastic edges really nice. So part of that is making sure there's no bubbles, so it will look like a small bubble under the surface, or maybe just a cloudy area. You want to make sure there's no wet glue in patches, especially if using Prosaide adhesive, because that will leave a white mark underneath the prosthetic, which will show through. And once it's underneath the prosthetic and cut off from air, it's not going to dry and go away. Basically, what you will want it to look like is a smooth skin tone showing through all the way around, no bubbles, no wrinkles, no white cloudy patches, because it's going to look exactly the same after you blend away the flashing, you know, that silicone ring around the edge. And if it's not perfect before you blend, it's certainly not going to be perfect afterwards, so fix it before you blend.
Okay, cool. So now we've got the main prosthetic glued down and the edges glued down. Let's start blending. This is the fun part. So I've got my trusty dusty acetone in this little pump bottle. So I'm gonna get this little brush, I'm just gonna run it right along that flashing. And I find it easier to break it, and then peel this back.
I can't wait till that brush gets to the underside of my foot.
Oh, you're gonna love that. A little tickle town. You thought that the dog licking your elbow was bad. Does it feel weird because it's like cool as well because of the acetone?
It feels not too bad.
Not too bad?
Okay, yeah, alright.
Alright, good. Good-o. For those following along at home, doesn't tickle too badly.
This piece, because the edges fit around different areas of the body.
That's true, very versatile about where you put it. Hashtag buy my merch. We make good shit. So now I'm just going around the edges and just gently softening where the cap plastic meets the skin. Definitely don't want this to go too far into the prosthetic because you can expose the edge that way. Got a little bubble here. And now I'm gonna get a red stipple sponge. We're gonna rip off a little jaggedy edge.
Can you use the same one from last time?
Oh yeah, I can. Totally can. Forgot I had that. Here's one I prepared earlier. And get a little bit of this Prosaide Cream, red stipple sponge, and I'm gonna put this just around the edges, and this will help to keep the cap plastic down, especially if Leah decides to walk around on it, and just give you a really nice transition. So I try and keep this thin, both in terms of like the width of the glue layer and then also the amount of glue so that it will dry quickly. We'll definitely have to seal this so that Leah doesn't stick to the floor when she walks.
Although if we did pick up dirt along the way, I think it would add to it.
More authentic, but just in the one area where we put glue.
I need to drag my foot through the gutter with that glue still wet. So we pick up.
It's the things we do for art. Cool, so nice and thin. We'll leave that to dry for a minute. Get ready to put our mattifying layer by mixing that up now while the glue's drying. So using Bluebird Matte Sealer because it mattifies and seals at the same time, which is super handy. And you literally just need a little tiny drop, and then I thin it out with iso alcohol. And then a little bit goes a long way just to both seal the stickiness of the Prosaide and then take away the shine of the Prosaide and the cat plastic. Give that a minute. So I usually just do this over the edge where that glue has been. How's this? Is this tickly? Does it feel like a dog?
I've built up an immunity now and you have no effect.
An immunity to tickles?
Gone.
You say that Steven is really ticklish though, right?
Yeah, I can't. The underside of his feet is a no-go zone. So
That's colour. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, we're going to put on some dark flesh tone. We use my spatter brush. Let's start with a mix. I like mixing up Bamboo 2 and Espresso in the lid. Do a little bit of both, a little bit of extra alcohol in the lid to mix it into. And we'll start spattering that around the edge to get this slightly darker.
If you don't know how to spatter alcohol paints, I'll link a video here which you can click on, which explains it all. Spattering alcohol paints is just a very useful way for doing skin tones easily, and I do recommend it.
And areas like this, you'll find there'll be some parts of the skin which have darker tones and some which have lighter tones, and you can kind of transition it quite neatly if you, I'm going to rephrase that, you can transition it quite nicely with the spatter brush from light to dark because it just naturally diffuses all the colours. I'm going to do a darker layer using some of this chocolate, but it always runs a little bit too orange, so I'm going to just mix a tiny bit of this coral blue to neutralize some of the orange. And then anywhere that I can see it needing a little bit more darkness, I'm just going to add this on top. So ankles usually see a bit of sun because they're above the shoe. Same with top of the feet if you wear, I'm going to say thongs, but the Americans will be like, what? If you wear flip-flops. Leah wears thongs.
We wear jangles in here Alabama.
This is the worst accent. I'm not going to include that. People will be like, what the fuck? Just a little tiny bit more of that darker layer. Darker layer for Leah. So funny, I'm laughing on the inside. Okay, let's leave that for now and do some Complexion palette colors. We'll start with a little bit of the Cool Tone Blue because I love it. And gonna clean off my brush first. Just get a really thin layer in the lid with lots of alcohol. Cool. I'm going to do a little bit of pastel yellow for like a little highlight layer. Any areas that look like it might be lighter, I can add this too. And then I'm going to do a little bit of this DT blush. And again, just make that quite transparent. Get a little bit of pink. Cool, might make it a little bit darker on the top again. Can I get you to turn your foot slightly that way? Yeah, awesome. And I'm just going to get into that little section there. Make a custom mix of some of these dark flesh tones.
It looks like
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it just looks like it's cut away. Yeah. Red.
I think you've done well.
Hell yeah. Son, I am proud. Good job. All right, and rotate back around again. Cool. All right, there's gonna be some discoloration because it's fucking badly infected, but. Okay, so we're gonna start coloring the center with some Dusty Rose. We'll just lay this all in the center. Is it? Whoopsie. Tappity tap. Okay, I'm looking at my reference photo. Oh yeah, there's quite a lot of really bright colors going on, as well as some deeper, gross colors. Yeah, there is. Yeah, when you have an infection and it's an older wound. What? There's this really pink kind of infectious layer around the edge. So I usually don't put pink around the edge unless it's an infection color. And then it's like, yeah, go crazy with the pink. Well, not super crazy, but a little bit crazy. And I'm gonna add a little bit of this, a couple of places in the center as well. I'm gonna put this in here. Let's do some of this dark mauve. So I'm gonna place this in a couple of areas to make it have a bit more dimension and different colors. You don't want to put the same thing everywhere because I know you'll get a bit lost and muddy. So pick a couple of areas and again try and make it a little bit asymmetrical. So I have like more here and less there, whatever it is. I'm going to do a little bit of the red rum color as well. Get that in there nice and dark. And then let's go over to the Necromania colors because these are really nice and infected looking. So we'll start with kind of a mix of these three to make like a little bit of a pus color. So we've got the Dark Moss, which is like a greeny brown bile, and then this, mix some of these together. Something kind of like that should be good. We can add on fake pus as well, but we'll start coloring it with some alcohol. Paints on these highlights. And I just realized we haven't done a lot of anything to these ones, so we'll add a little bit of dark mauve in here as well. Just add a tiny bit of the pus color in here. I also want to add a tiny bit of purple and brown. So we'll start with the purple, the Capillary Tone from Complexion palette. You can use this just to create depth in a couple of areas. And then let's use this Dark Moss Brown. And we're just kind of break this up in here. We're going to be layering KY jelly on top and also pus. So just kind of get some colors in, but you don't have to be too precious. All right, let's have a look at the color. I will add, there's a little bit of brown kind of crusty bits on the outside here. You can kind of add some of that coloration coming out. Same with like around these areas. I also want to do, for that infected colouring, maybe a little bit of these three colours, a dark mauve, capillary and cool tone, and just like a little tiny, stipple brush. So I'll stipple some of this colour around. And we'll do a little bit of really transparent capillary tone.
Too cool for school, huh?
Yeah. So a little bit of blue discoloration can kind of suggest that. A little bit of infection as well.
The antibiotics are not working. You know what I would do if I had this as a real wound? I probably would let maggots eat away.
Ew.
Only because they're useful, because they do consume
Only the dead flesh.
So, like viable living flesh, they only go after the rotted stuff. So, from that point of view, they're useful. And then, once that's done, I would put a poultice of activated charcoal on that, and I'd change every day. I would pack the wound completely with charcoal.
Shit, dude.
I would load myself up on a fucking truck full of high-dose vitamin C and sit out in the fucking sun.
I also got some colours from the Bluebird character palette. There's some really nice browns in there that I like to use for this, like Tea Stain, Freckle, and Age Spot. They're just slightly less green than Darth Moss, and a little bit more of a darker brown.
That would be a fucking terrible thing to go through. Let's add a little bit more of the tea stain. Okay, let's start playing around with goos and textures. So that is my favorite part. And I do want to use just a little bit of this mattify around the shiny edge quickly now. Just work this into that edge, take away shine. All right, let's get juicy. We'll get juicy and then we'll get, wait, no, actually let's do the crispiness first. Crispiness and then juiciness. So I've got this bag of cap plastic. Little patches, just because our reference photo has this dry skin around the wound. So get a couple of different shapes and sizes, and get our adhesive from before. We'll glue down some cap plastic. So there's definitely like a lot around here. So we can get this glued down. You don't want to glue down all of it, but just enough to kind of pop it in place. And then I'm going to use acetone on it, but not over all of it, because you do want to have some bits that you can rip up. So it does help to get like a little bit layered like this with some texture in it. Do another little bit up here. Do a bit along the bottom here. Oh yeah, teaser pictures. We'll do another little bit here. Okay, looks like you cut yourself shaving. You just like chucked on some. Alright, so I'm just going to blend in these edges, but try and keep the center off so we can easily tear it, so it's not like blended down into the piece or the skin. So just to kind of hide the edges, and we can get those nice peeled up center bits.
Doing it, I used to tickle the hell out of me, and when I would tell them,
I'm going to do a light layer of grey, so we've got the shadow tone from the Bluebird character palette. This is just going to kind of take down the level of whiteness or highlight that you get from the cap plastic, so it won't look as cray-cray. hopefully. We'll see. A little bit of grey discoloration does kind of look nice on infected pieces. Okay, let's let that dry for a second, and we're going to go into the centre now with some KY jelly.
Hospital bed, like in World War II or something with trench foot. This would be like, I guess you could categorize it. It could be.
Let's put some pus from Maekup in here. Get like a chunk of it here. This will kind of blend in with the KY. There's like a little bit of it in there. Kind of blend that all together. Alright, let's try and get this skin up to get the effect of the peely skin. We can blend more away if we need to. Alright, I want to, just a little bit too crazy, so I'm just going to blend in some of the cat plastic back down again. So, for example, let's just get some of that back down there. Just as a little bit, but not like as much of as I've got. Yeah, it kind of calms it down a bit, but still makes it pretty peely looking. So I might just add in a little tiny bit more of the dark browns, that kind of scabby coloration. So we got this dried matte blood paste. Put just a little bit in the wound. Might get back in with some alcohol colours on top of this and on top of the pus, just to change those colours a tiny bit. Vegemite. Yes, we could have used that actually.
Vegemite and cheese.
Super Australian.
That's what we're calling this.
It's a spider bite and there's Vegemite. It's like the most Australian thing ever. Maybe we could put just like a little bit in there. Kind of mix those two together and take some of it back. Okay, a little tiny bit of brown coloring on top, and then I think we're good. And just kind of add these tones in here. Maybe around some of these dried bits. A little bit in the pus. Cool. I think we are done.
Drop the brush.
Dunzo. Let's move all of my shit out of the way. Okay. Just clean this edge between these two a tiny bit more. Nice. So, interesting textures. All right, and just let me just pull back a little bit of color here as well. Okay, and move your foot around a little bit. Yeah. Molly. Haters. Hayes will say it's fake. Nice. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that looks nice. Move that foot around, girl. Yeah. That's dope. I like that. I like that. Oh yeah, nasty. All right, keep doing that. I'm gonna zoom in closer. Ugh, yep. Disgusting. Then back that way. Nasty. Move it around a tiny. This is what we can see actually. Be able to see on there.
Oh. This is my ballerina thing.
My beautiful ballerina point with my little infected foot. Oh, sexy. It's like a little bunny. You have good foot flexibility. That's a good reveal. We can have you walking around on the sturdy floor at the end with this just like dragging pus along behind you. That's what we like. That's what we like at the Jones household.